Welcome back to the Bitcoin Show. We're going to talk more and more about Bitcoin again. I'm also going to bring to you another Bitcoin miner that I am looking at the end of the video. But before we get going, check out the channel memberships. We've got some great stuff going on in there, especially in the stalagmite level where you get the real-time trade posts and members only videos. Also hit that subscribe button. Get us up to 10,000 subscribers. We get to 10,000 before the end of the year. I'm going to open up the stalagmite posts to all paid tiers, and if that happens in 2026, well, then I'll open those up for a month. But get them up to 10,000. We're currently at 9,100, about 91. We're at 9134 currently. Get those numbers up, hit 10,000, and we'll go through the final leg of this Bitcoin trade together. You can see how I'm handling that. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. All right, so a couple of things. One, this red line here should be about the bottom of the global liquidity chart. So we'll take a look at that. And it's not. Well, it's where a base is, where we see a little pop up. So the next bottom for this thing. So the next area where this thing should be at a bottom is about right there. Come over here. Why won't this thing move? All right, that's frustrating. There we go. All right, should be about there November 3rd. That should be the bottom coming in. Maybe it comes in a little earlier. We shall see. So we see this like this basing here, which might appear like a flag, which is what we're seeing kind of right now. It kind of looks like a little bit of a bear flag, and I really don't like it. Now this feels like a bull trap. Okay, it feels like a bull trap, but as long as we don't break the 200 here, I'm not going to get too scared yet. Okay, now you will see that this volume spike here held us down. All right, that one at 111,000 held us down. We tried to engulf these two candles like I said we had to, and we failed. That is bad. This is looking like a bear flag. If that turns out to be a bear flag, we are looking at a move down, a measured move down of approximately, that's gonna suck. We're looking for a measured move approximately down to about $97,000, or about 15% from up here, which I guess would be about 7.5%, almost 8% from down at 106. Oh geez, yeah, I better do that move from here. So that would go down to 97. Yeah, about 97.5 from current value to about 97.5. We're looking at about a 10% drop from here, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not a terribly amount down from here before turning around. But losing that 100 is a major psychological level. We could end up seeing that be the end of the cycle, and then the next bounce would be lower and weaker, and then we see it roll over and ultimately end the cycle. That would really, really suck. All right, we are in the window. We are in the final window. This needs to push. It needs to push. It needs to have touched this bottom Bollinger Band, going from the top of the Bollinger Band to the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and it needs to push back up to the top, and it needs to start doing it very soon. Otherwise, we have to start entertaining the idea that it's over. Okay? Otherwise, we have to start entertaining the idea that it is over. All right? The next one thing that I do, I forgot touchscreen doesn't work. One thing that I am not super concerned about is because one reason I'm not super concerned is that we're looking at the stochastic here. We got green on yellow. This is looking very flaggy, like back here before we saw a massive expansion in price, which was early September. And if you remember how September went. It went awesome. It went straight up. We also near the end of September there, September 28th. All right, so we had the early September. We pushed up from, where did we push up from? We pushed up from 109 to 117, and then we came back down to 109 and pushed up to 126. And right now we came down to 103, which gives us a little more liquidity of a sweep, a little more of a sweep. And then we now need to push higher and see it go above like 124, 125. We need to see that. It's got to happen. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right, let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly, so we pulled away from the 50-week moving average, which is good. That's good. I would like to stay away from this thing as much as possible. I really like to see that. Just stay away from me. The stochastics, though, don't look great on the weekly, and neither do the BX Trender, and neither does the RSI. The RSI came back. It's under 50 currently. Under 50 is not good. Not ideal. What about the monthly? Let's look at a monthly chart for Bitcoin. All right, let me turn off all the drawings here. There we go. Monthly chart, we're bouncing off the 9, which is the area that has held us, right? On this, basically this entire move since 2023, the 9 has held us, and we touched it, and we need to bounce off the 9. This needs to be a bull flag, and we need to resolve higher towards the upper end of that Bollinger Band. We have to do it. If we do not, then we're coming down to the 20. And if we come down to the 20, we might bounce back up to the 9, but that will be it. It will be done. All right. And again, the BX Trender is showing a weakening. Now we've seen a weakening and then resumption twice through this bull cycle. This could be the third one. In previous bull cycles, we did not get that. In previous bull cycles, we just went straight up. Maybe we got one pullback, and then we went straight up again. This one, we've been getting a lot of resting areas on Bitcoin. I don't know why this is so slow. Okay, we've been getting a lot of resting areas on Bitcoin, right? It'll go up a bit, right? It'll go up a bit, rest, up a bit, rest, up a bit, rest. Are we going to see that again, right? It rested. Now it's gonna go up a bit and rest again. If that's the case, I don't like that either. But I would like to see it go up. And then in like the 2017 cycle, look at this. It's just straight up the whole time. And then when it turned dark green, that was it. It was done. So that's why I don't love this. This cycle's been hard. We've never done anything like this. We've never stair-stepped up like this before. All right, so anyways, RSI is coming off of overbought territory. It could resume again. This is the area where we would want to see resumption. All right, this is kind of the area we would want to see resumption. One thing I will point out, though, is we haven't seen RSI divergence. Look at this. This area here is higher than that area there, which is higher than this area down here. And you know what's been happening to the price of Bitcoin that whole time? It's been going higher each time, higher each time. Not ideal. Price is higher, RSI is lower. That is RSI divergence. And price has also been getting compressed, right? We're forming a wedge on the RSI. And that is not good. That is not ideal. We do not want to see that. This thing's got a reverse hard. So basically, the next top is going to be it. The next top is going to be it. Okay? What happens when you see RSI divergence like this that we're looking at on the monthly chart for Bitcoin? What happens when you get that? Well, when you break the trend, when you break the trend line, which is, in this case, this one right here, that's it. It's going to collapse. That's generally how that works. Okay? What is wrong with my trackpad today? Okay? RSI divergence confirmed timber. That's this line right here. When this trend line's done, that's probably going to be that. That's probably going to be it. I don't know why my trackpad is so terrible today. Oh, well. Maybe I set my computer weird. Who knows? All right. The stochastics also pointing down. The monthly here is about to turn purple, which it's done in February. It did that in February, and then turned around. Let's see, February, April, May. So that took 2 months to turn around after that turned purple. We really can't see that right now. We really cannot see that right now. This thing has got to do like back here in September 2023 where it turned purple for a second and then immediately went green again. We really need to see that. A lot of these indicators, especially in the larger charts, are showing that we are near the very end of this thing. Unless they start showing some different stuff, this thing needs to bounce off this line. This thing needs to stay above this white dotted trend line right here. I went from the bottom of September 2024 to the bottoms of April 2025. And in fact, it's not quite perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit. This trackpad is like unusable today for some reason. Okay, somewhere around there. Something like that. If you really want to get granular with it, we could do this. Let me go over here. Something like this. But that doesn't feel right because that feels way too low. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to stick to the bottom here from September 2024 to the bottom of April 2025. I'm going to keep that one as my measure. Okay, that is my measure. This is over now, and that would trigger at about currently on this month at $92,000, and that would be like, that's it, run kind of scenario. Now, is it all doom and gloom? No, it is not. It is not all doom and gloom. We're holding the 9 on the monthly. We haven't touched the 50 on the weekly yet. We are holding, but barely, but holding the 200-day moving average. This could still resolve to the upside, but all the momentum indicators are saying if we get another push, that will likely be the last push. And if we break any of these trends on the way down, that is it. It is done. Let's also look at, real quickly, how big these moves have been. So this first expansion was 173%. All right. This second expansion was 122%. And this third expansion was 68%. So they've been getting weaker significantly. This last one was significantly weaker, and we're getting wicks on top while momentum is falling down. That is all quite bad. So if we do get one last push, I would be expecting somewhere around 40 to 50% at most. That's really what I'd be expecting, 40 to 50% at most. So we're looking at about anywhere between like $135,000 and $155,000 for Bitcoin, and that's where I'll be calling the top. Okay, so again, I know a lot of the videos lately have been like doom and gloom, and there's a little bit of doom and gloom. All right, we're coming at the very end of the cycle. This is the hardest part, letting go. Letting go is the hardest part of the cycle. So the daily is looking like we could get one more push up. Right, that push up is likely going to be weaker than the previous 3, so weaker than 68%. Just expect that. I'm going to start offloading pretty heavily in the mid to high 130s and 140s. That is where I'm going to be offloading. Will that be the top? Probably not. It probably won't be the top. I'll probably miss it. That's okay. I've made a lot of money, and I'm going to make a lot more money, and then I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to let the thing play out. Okay, and that's okay. I'm gonna just accept that I won't nail the top. Anyways, yeah, that's about it for Bitcoin. Yeah, weeklies. The weekly is just looking like BX looks bad, RSI looks bad, stochastics look bad. We really got to see, like, on a larger time frame, some kind of hope. Like the 1 day is all right. The 3 day is looking like it may be ready to curl. But, I mean, we came down to this little spot here at 104. Like, that's got to hold. Otherwise, we're going to fall down under $100,000. We're going to be trading under $100,000 if 104 does not hold. It must hold. We lost the 50 on that on the 3 day. We really got to get back above, like, 114, 115. Like, that's really, like, a non-negotiable. And we really, really got to get above this candle here at, like, 122. That's necessary. Okay, so let's go look at the Bitcoin miner I was talking about. So this one's going to be a penny stock. Going to be way out on the risk curve, okay? Way out, because that's where we are right now. The Argo blockchain. This is what I'm looking at right now. Okay, let me go to the daily. Why am I looking at this right now? Largely because of this bull flag right here. So we got this nice bull flag right here. That is just right there. Boom. That's nice. I like that. I'd like to see it break out above this and then go higher. That would be pretty cool. Now, it hasn't quite run yet. Yes, I know. I see this pop right here. But let me show you something. Okay, go to bar chart. Where's my search? ARBK. Okay, and then we go down to, is it the volatility? Yes, the volatility. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. There it is. Okay, right here. See this big volume spike right here? On to do 10.6. Significantly higher volume than everything else, right? Last time that happened was back in July, which was the previous, bull seasonality period, right? We got a big push on 7.1, and then on 7.18, another huge push. So we're looking at 17, 18 days between. So 10.7. So we're looking for 14 to 20 days in the future from that to see another big volume spike potentially. That's one thing. Like that's a theme. It tends to do a spike, like you can see back here too, even these smaller ones. A theme where, like, this one was more consistent, being like about a month apart, and then near the end of the cycle here, we're getting like that 16 days. I think we got it right here too, on 111 and then that big spike again at about 114. 1114. Wow, that one got you. Oh yeah, 11.1. Sorry. So November 1st to 11.14, big pop. July, same timing window, big pop. October, we got the big pop. Are we going to get the second one? And we'd be looking around the 24th for that, right? The 20, anywhere between like the 22nd to the 30th. Honestly, I'd be looking for that next big pop up on ARBK, excuse me, up to about $1, maybe more. So that has me looking at the options, right? The $1 options. So ARBK. Now this is way out on the risk curve. This is a penny stock. This is a trash stock. This is not something I would hold more than, say, a month. At most, I would hold it for that pop and then I'd let it go. And some people, why would you buy the garbage stock? Why would you be interested in something that's like trash? And the reason is I'm going further out on the risk curve. This is how that money trickles down. This is how they say that money trickles down. I've made hundreds and hundreds of percent on Bitfarms. I made hundreds and hundreds of percent on CleanSpark warrants. I made hundreds and hundreds of percent on Can and Soluna and a few others, and CleanSpark and Mara. I have money to burn. I'm willing to gamble a little bit. I'm willing to gamble a few $100 on ARBK because I've made so much money in other areas. This is that trickle down effect that happens every cycle, and I'm participating in it. Look at me go. Anyways, yeah, I can buy the $1 for $12 right now, and if let's say this thing hits, let's say it does it like a push up of like last time, it went from that pop, came to the bottom. From the bottom to the top on that was about 180%. So if we go to the bottom of this and we go up about 180%, we're looking somewhere around $1.30, $1.40, right? $1.30, $1.40. So let's push this up, $1.30, $1.40. So we'll be looking about 400%. So these are currently $12.50. Times that by almost 5. No, well, let's do by 4 since it'll be in November. So you got $12.50 times by 4, looking about $50 a pop. That's not That's not bad. So let's say you put in $200. You can bring 800 out. Not terrible. Not terrible. For me, I'm looking at doing about 1,000, so I'd be pulling out about 4. Which would, it's a vacation. That's vacation. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at ARKBK. There's nothing to do with fundamentals, everything to do with technicals, everything to do with previous historic patterns. This is a garbage stock. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. You got to do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and ultimately you are responsible for your own risk because investing is risky and you can lose it all. So do not look at this thing and go buy it because TC said so. Like, that's not what's happening. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm simply bringing this to your attention as something that I am looking at, something that has piqued my interest on a gambling level because I have made a significant sum and I'm looking to do some gambling. And this is how I'm viewing it. This is an all or nothing lotto ticket sort of scenario. And I am looking at it to potentially make a move up, potentially make some money, or, I might lose half or all of that entire position in a matter of days. That could also happen. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, share this video, check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. Don't sleep on the channel memberships. We've got some great stuff going on in there, especially in the stalagmite level, and have a profitable day.